the last upload, it was, as they say, problematic. I hope you're all keeping well. It's a beautiful, absolutely stunning autumnal day here in the northwest of Ireland. First thing I want to do is I want to give an ultimatum, although I said that in the title. It's more friendly than that, but it is a final say on this matter. This goes out to everyone who is involved in Irish media, alt media, everyone who's involved in sort of like, you know, protesting from the kind of tribal side, the anarchist kind of like not right, not left, in you know, just there, you know, annoyed kind of side who sees the truth, sees through the whole left right bullshit, and is accordingly engaging with the system in order to affect it somehow or to deal with it. If you call, listen to me carefully. If any of you, I don't care how big your platform is, how good your video is, how much of an expose it is, how pure or strong your heart is in the thing, if you call another Irish politician by their first name just once, I will have nothing to do with you ever again, other than being friendly. But in terms of supporting you and your videos, your websites, your cause, your anything, I will not. You're done as far as I'm concerned. I've been talking about this for a long time, and you still haven't got it. Calling. I mean, I saw the Paul Murphy thing, and everything was, "Hey, Paul, how are you, Paul? Paul, you fucking gone? Yeah, Paul." You know, this is a Bolshevik who wants to take your home away from you, and you're still calling him like you think he's your fucking mate, okay? And you do it with all of them. Leo, Tony, Michal, you know. And you look. Let me tell you, that is a psyop used by the Irish political class to turn you into a fucking moron. And you every time fall for that trap. How you should address them is by their second name. In an official capacity, by their title. You must never, ever, ever address them by their first names. They use this to keep you a fucking slave, okay? Because it creates an association where you're not going to hate your mate, your buddy, your pal, your comrade, your friend, if you're using his first name. But if you address him by his second name, the whole dynamic has changed. You're now switched off. You ever hear how many things have I made on magic? Magic is ultimately a science of language, okay? Ultimately, in how it works today, it's a science of language. I can assure you that if you stop calling them, now this is a wheat from the shaft moment here. You need to pay attention, please. I don't want to not stop sharing good videos or good people's work, but I'm sick of it. It's a cancer amongst our society. When you start calling them all by their second name, both to their faces and in everyday conversation, or in articles and blog sites, your whole consciousness changes. You then take them, you defriend them in your mind. You de-buddy them in your mind. And they become, rather than someone you can have a bit of crack with or be a buddy with, into someone who's alien to you. Let me tell you something. Those of you calling Paul Murphy, the Bolshevik who wants to take away your home, Paul, you have no idea how he and every other Irish politician has the most spectacular contempt for you. And when you call them by their first name, you are putting yourself in a position of submission to them, right? You've instantaneously gone into a position of submission, okay? That means you're now on a level where they're your pal, and you're not going to be truly angry or engagement to an appropriate, assuming an engagement to an appropriate level with someone who's your buddy. He's not some guy in a bar. She's not some guy in a cafe. When you call them by their second name, the dynamic quickly changes. Suddenly you're on par with them. And if anything, by the Irish way of doing it, you've asserted your dominance upon them. Because they've trained you all like stupid fucking monkeys to go, ah, Paul, ah, Leo, ah, Tony, ah, Jet, ah, this, that, and the other, right? When you go, Murphy, Varadkar, Houlihan, Martin, you are like a drill sergeant. This is why in the army they use your surnames. You are then asserting dominance on them. Now, I've been telling you this before, but this is absolutely a spectacular revolutionary act in Ireland because no one is doing it. Even the people who claim to hate them call them by their first names. They call them by their first names in the mainstream media. Don't do it in alt media. Only address them by their second name, especially if you encounter them in the streets or at a protest. This will terrify them because they will have known then that you have broken the spell, the psyop in this country that they've used for decades now to get you from having that extra level of contempt, as well as that sense of dominance and self-security that comes with calling them by their first name. Now that Paul Murphy thing outside Brussels was ridiculous, okay? He didn't get kicked, but he was the least Muppet there. The biggest Muppets there were going, Paul, hey, Paul, how are you, Paul? How are you, Paul? And I see it everywhere. I see it all the fucking time. It should have been, Murphy, you're not going to take our homes. Murphy, you better reconsider your Bolshevik tactics towards the people in this country. Murphy this, Murphy that. Hey, Varadkar this, Varadkar that. Martin this, Martin that. Never call them by their first names. This is the last ultimatum I'm giving to any of you. If you're on my social media feed and you're all going, Paul, Tony, Don Leo, fuck you, you fucking idiot. This is why you're a slave. You're so fucking stupid. You call these fucking animals by their first name. They don't deserve that, okay? And when I see someone who makes an otherwise good video attacking or rightly exposing one of these bastards, and then they start calling them by their first name, I just fucking lose it, okay? So that's it from now on. If you call them by their first names, you're out of my fucking circle. You're out of it, okay? I don't care if it's an innocent slip-up. You're out of it. This video is over, okay? You can do whatever you want. I'm not telling you what you can do. I'm telling you how I would. If you want to call these cunts by their first names for the rest of your life, you go ahead and do that. That's your right. I'm telling you how I will respond to you. I will respond to you by seeing you as having no self-respect, a slave, and someone who's afraid to assert dominance in the situation with these people. There's a reason why the drill sergeants call people by their second names. They don't call them by their first names. You see, magic is a science of language. Learn to master the language. The most powerful revolutionary act you can do in Ireland today is to call a politician by their second name, by their surname, and in an official capacity, by their Deputy O'Brien, Minister O'Connor, that kind of thing. Only in an official capacity. Otherwise, always the second name. So there you go. A friendly warning. I'm done with you. If you start calling them if everything is by their first name from now on, I'm not going to share your videos or anything like that. I'm not going to share your articles. I'm not even going to acknowledge you. You're still a slave, okay? You still have a slave mindset. That you think these people are your mates, that if you have a friendly chat with them, they'll change and give you what you want. You have no idea of the spectacular contempt that these cunts have for you. And they love it when, I can guarantee you, when they're walking around going, Paul, you bollocks, Jimmy, you bastard, and they're walking around laughing. But the day that one of them goes, Brian, you fucking piece of shit, O'Connor, I want to tell you something, they'll go, I promise you. And if you start using it yourself in your daily language, when you're talking about these bastards to people, you will find that your consciousness will actually shift. And you will have a very different attitude towards them. And rather than seeing them as kind of like craggy island characters, You see them as the very sinister entities that they are. And you start to feel in yourself that these are not harmless bastards making it, or lads up for the crack who've made a few mistakes. You will start to see these monsters for what they truly are. And that's my final word on the matter. Now, about this upcoming event, it's definitely going to happen. It's going to be mind blowing. This upcoming event will happen. It's, oh no, not the one on September 24th. That's the usual bullshit. I'm talking about December 5th when I'll be doing a talk in Lynham St. Anne's at New Horizons. That's Monday, December 5th. At Lynham St. Anne's, I will be doing a talk there. And this is near Blackpool. So, Blackpool in the north of England. And so put that in your calendar if you live in the area. Come along, say hello. Shake my hand, give me a hug, tell me to go and shite, whatever. But come along, engage, okay? And I promise you, I'm going to put on. I was talking to Rob there last night at New Horizons. I'm going to put on a talk that's never been done anywhere. And so keep an eye on the New Horizons website and that kind of thing. So that's December 5th. It's a Monday. Okay. Another date you should be looking at is after Christmas, possibly between the 7th and the 13th, in that period. This is when everything changes. This will be what the bollocks that are telling you about September 24th, that bollocks, that was a drunken German politician, and it got mistranslated. Here's the real dates after Christmas. By the 7th, the seasonal ping pongs should be kicking off. We have millions of people who ostensibly have full-blown AIDS from the foghorn leghorn on. The first serious infections will start around January 7th, and the body count will be off the scale. As bad as it is now, it will be off the scale. You're talking about people that have no T cells left. And from the boy I say boy and foghorn leghorn. You've got to prepare yourself for losing people who will be close to you. I would suggest locking yourselves indoors as much as possible during this period. The roads will be extremely dangerous. There will be chaos everywhere. It'll only last for 3 months, and then things will settle down again back to where they were. But I suggest that you definitely have, and you should have this anyway, but for that period, have some kind of fuel, a way of keeping warm, and also indoors now, and also food and supplies. Now this is mind prepping here, okay? You've got to, those of you who are foghorn leghorned, and boy I say boy, if you're foghorn leghorn, it's bad enough. Your boy said boy, I don't know what to say to you. You can pass this on to your people who are like this, okay? I've been spending a lot of time on groups where people have AIDS and survived AIDS long term. And when you have AIDS, you have no immune system essentially. So the whole thing is to avoid any kind of infection, okay? This is very important. Now, if you have a history of cancer in your family, or if you're in remission, that's a different thing. But otherwise, if you don't have that, you can take steps. The first one is a positive mindset. This is what they all said. There's people who had the AIDS in the 80s who are still alive, and I've learned a lot from reading their websites and reading their testimonies and so on. The number one thing is a positive mindset, okay? That don't have a sense of doom that you're fucked because your evil boss, forced you into this, or you did it out of love, or any other reason, or you're terrified into it, okay? A positive mindset can do wonders for your genetic system. It can actually change your epigenetics, okay? And you can actually heal yourself, usually with a positive mindset. The second one is to stay indoors as much as possible. If you have a means to move to a really cold climate in winter, I would suggest going there if you can. If you can go spend the winter and into the spring in somewhere like New England, Upper Quebec, anywhere that gets freezing cold, Scandinavia, northern Germany, the Baltic states, go there. Or go into mountainous regions if you live in places like Italy and so on, where it gets very cold in winter. The reason for this is that cold weather is less likely to spread the Rona, okay, the ping pong, and things like that, because the the viruses don't last long in the cold. They're actually frozen, and by the time the spring comes around, you've already got an immune system to it. And it's for people who have the foghorn leghorn, it's a bit more difficult. So if you can live in a freezing cold climate, do that. Indoors, wash as many things as you can with bleach. Get lots of bleach at the moment as a house and use it. I know some people are problems with the smell of it and stuff, but bleach your hands even, okay? Bleach all surfaces you prepare food on. Bleach your hall doors, the doorknobs on your thing. It's a very powerful thing you can do. You'd be surprised how much you can deal with that. Coconut oil has been shown to be a wonder thing in all this, in stopping this. It helps absorb all kinds of things that you need into your skin, and it also stops the penetration of ping pongs and things like that. I'm trying to not get blocked here. Cover yourself in coconut oil for as much as possible. Get the organic stuff. Get the good stuff from the Indian or Pakistani shops. They have the best stuff on the best value. Every day, all over your hands and face, and your whole body if you can manage it. And that's a good one. It's good, and it's great for you in other ways. When you go outside, wear a hat and gloves. That's an important one. That won't work because it gets into your eyes and everything. It's not. It's hands, gloves, and a hat. But only go out where you have to. Okay. And if you have to go to work and things like that, just try not to be all as close around people as possible. You can beat this, okay? The rest of us will be fine, okay? Don't worry about that. This is just addressing people who have the foghorn leghorn and have suddenly decided that bad stuff has happened to them. And they now see what's happening, what the danger of it. If you get through, I was reading on the 8 sites, if you get through the first 2 or 3 years, you could live for decades. So the important thing is, and also if you can get that medicine, that they make jokes about it, that it's to do with horses, that's phenomenal stuff if you can find a way to get that. You can also get the grapefruits and boil that down and make the liquor. And I can't name the name because it'll pan the video, but you know what I'm talking about. And like I said, keep it positive. There's lots of them that won't do. Lots of them think that they've. There's definitely a perception changing, definitely, big time. But there's a lot of tremendous fear, understandably, inside people who have just woken up too late. Like I said, don't go around judging people. Don't be going around judging people, okay? Just because they did things like, some of them did things like laugh at the ones who were unneedle crafted when they died and made fun of them, don't sink down to that level. That's very toxic. And toxic thinking, stinking thinking, can actually result in a stinking immune system. Okay? So, this is the period of decorum, restraint, and calmness. Okay? And that's all I can really say to you about that stuff. But I can not guarantee you, but don't be surprised if starting January 7th, you don't recognize this world anymore. But it'll be horrific, but it'll end very quickly. The reason why will be there'll be a surplus of everything, because there won't be enough around to tap into it. And that's really all I can say about that. But what we're experiencing now with the The sky die, highway die, stroke poke, and, you know, clot shot is nothing compared to what's coming. Nothing. Especially people who have cancer and in remission. And you've got to really take care of yourself. But the ones who won't, who still think they've got protection, you will see, I'm sure you're already meeting these people. I mean, I know so many people now that have just dropped dead. Some of them are about my age, some of them are younger. And I don't go up to the families and say, were they needle crafted? Or, oh, what caused that? I just, I just, I just put my head down and want to cry. But at the same time, too, what can I do? That's all he can do. That's all he can do. But this thing about September 24th is such bullshit. Don't be falling for that crap. Every so often, the truthers go psychotic and start believing these things. Don't believe them. That's all doom porn. And what I'm doing about next year, notice how I phrased it with how you can help yourself and how it's not going to be so bad after it ends. I don't do doom porn. I will point out things that are serious, but I'll make sure there's always, a trap, an exit door or a way to deal with it. You know, it's as simple as that. If you're going to shout fire, also, hand people. When you're shouting fire in a burning building, make sure you're handing someone a fire extinguisher as well. That's my attitude. Or show them the door, the way out. But between now and then, I would suggest a sense of reflection and calmness. And I'm not joking when I say to people who are foghorn leghorn, I would seriously tell you to get your will in order and things like that. I'm not trying to be, I'm just saying if it's worse comes to worse, it might not. But just be careful. Just, make peace with yourself. And, like I said, a positive attitude is everything. Okay? A positive attitude is so important. And, I know it's about this contradiction, making out your will, but you should be doing that anyway after you're a certain age. Anything can happen on the roads. The roads are so dangerous right now. There's a multi-car pile up today. I saw an article about in Australia. The mortality rates are off the scale, but we ain't seen nothing yet. And they will try to blame it on the long Rona, and they'll probably get away with it. So those of you who are thinking, "Oh, the people will wake up now. They'll finally wake up." No, they won't. We have reached a stage in humanity. We've reached a stage in humanity where parents are cutting their own children's genitalias off in order to get likes on social media, right? And we're also living in an age where people would rather die than do something to protect that do something to admit that they were lied to and fooled. They'd rather die, especially regarding this trust the science thing. They'd rather die, and that's their choice. Now, one more thing I want to talk about, and this is an important one. Reddit. Have you ever looked at the website Reddit? It's like a discussion forum. Do you know that that's operating a social credit system? I just realized that. I was on there the other day, and I wanted to see those posts about all the beautiful Ukrainian refugee females who were standing at the Polish border looking to be rescued. And that was all pushed on Reddit. And of course, looking back at that now, that was a lie by the intelligence services or the EU or wherever to make people think they were going to get a hot blonde Ukrainian coming to their door when they'd get like some family from West Africa who claiming that they escaped the Russians bombing them in Chicken Kevin, and that's what happened. It's happened, and I don't hold anything against anyone from wanting a better life and emigrating and coming like that. But that's dishonesty. But that's what happened. That's what happened in all those cases. In so many of those cases, no one got a hot Ukrainian bird. Anyway, so that made me think: is Reddit part of the intelligence system services or something? And sure enough, have you ever seen how you get a social credit score there? That if you, the whole atmosphere of the site is progressive left-wing wokeness. It's basically woke, right? The more woke you behave and the less woke you are determines whether you get this social credit score and moves you up and down the scale regarding your statements and your posts and what you do. And it's all about groupthink and approved thinking. And you start looking at Reddit and you start seeing it's a very fucking sinister place. Very fucking sinister. So I'm almost convinced now that Reddit is operated by the Secret Service or some kind of intelligence service, and they're grooming their users towards the notion of how a social credit system works. That if you praise the regime, you get social credit scores that increase. If you criticize the regime, it's taken away from you. It's pure Communist Party of China, which is, we know, like the World Economic Forum, the rest of them who've already lost, are desperate to get at any cost. So that's a keep an eye on Reddit. Reddit is absolutely using a social credit system. Very interesting, I find that too. So look after yourselves, take care, and don't worry about September 24th. Worry about December 5th. Don't worry about it, and get excited about it, because I will be. And also next year, next year. So love you all. Love you. Spit went down the wrong way. Love you all. Bye.